Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo. Today I'm going to take this Natasha bead I made and I'm going to make a piece of jewelry as a gift for a special new friend of mine. So I'm really not going to introduce my new friend to you yet because I'm going to make her another piece and that will be another video. Today though, I want to introduce some beads that I actually got from my friends at Cobeads. They reached out to me, wondered if they could send me some stuff and that I would do a review on it. And I said, sure. I mean, what girl can turn down beads, right? So anyway, as I looked at my friend's description of herself, she told me she loved blue, but she loves surprises and she's wanting to branch out. And so I chose this Natasha bead because it has this turquoise blue in it. She also lives in Florida. In fact, she used to live in the same county that I grew up in, Brevard County, which I thought that was kind of fun. It's funny sometimes how you get paired up with people and find out how much you have in common. So anyway, I'm going to use this Natasha bead and I am going to wrap it with this antique brass wire. And Cobeads, one of the things that they sent me were these natural fossil coral beads. Now, FYI, fossil coral is not coral, just to let you know. A lot of people think, oh, it's coral, you should never use coral. It's not the traditional coral you think of when you go down in the ocean and, mess up the ecosystem when you take the coral. That is not where these come from. But I am going to use these. And I'm also going to use these Tibetan silver tone beads I got from Cobeads. And I'm also going to use, sorry for the rattling, these antique brass bead caps. So I'm going to be mixing my metals. And I want to bring out the turquoise blue and the yellow. So I have these turquoise beads and these yellow beads that I think will make a great match. So we're going to use those. And I have some coconut beads in my stash, so we're going to use those. And I've already done a video on how to make these earrings. So we're going to kind of make a set to match them. They're not going to be matchy-matchy, but they will go well together, really nicely together. I also want to use this antique brass chain. And I believe that's all the beads and the findings and stuff I need. Of course, you're going to need your beading wire. And I'm going to go get my round nose pliers, my flat nose pliers, my wire cutters. Oh, and one other thing, we do need some bead tips. And I'm going to use the Clamshell bead tips. And I'm going to use them in silver tone. So let me gather all my stuff up and start laying out my beads. I have all my beads laid out how I want them, but before I show you what I did, I need to wrap this. So I'm going to take some wire, and the hole is up here, and also this is not a really thick, it's a little thick, but it's not really thick bead. Depending, this technique I'm going to show you, just depending on the thickness of your bead is how much wire you need. And I don't know how long this is. Probably about 5 or 6 inches. Just going to clip that off. And I'm going to bend it so we know where the center is. I'm going to stick it in the hole. And then I'm going to bring them together and I'm just going to twist. And it doesn't have to be a neat twist. Sometimes my twists come out really neat, like they are right now. Sometimes they start out neat, then they get messy. Sometimes they're all messy. It doesn't really matter. You just want this to be like one wire, okay? Once you get it to one wire, you're going to take something round. I usually like to use this rather than my round nose pliers. And today I think I'm going to use the skinnier side. Usually I have to use the fatter side, but today I think I'm going to use the skinnier side. And you just make a loop and just make a messy wrap. And once you get it all wrapped, you need to take your flat nose pliers and you need to tuck these ends in so they're not going to be poking the person wearing it. So I just try to tuck them in underneath there. Whoops. I got to do some more tucking in, but that's basically what you have there. So this is basically how I have things laid out. I like to make my necklaces where the focal isn't just what's dropped down, but it comes off to the side a little bit. So what I've done is I've taken 2 of the fossil coral beads, flanked them with the antique brass bead caps on either side, and then I have the blue glass crystal with a coconut bead, and then a yellow glass crystal. And then you can't see them in there, but I'm going to start with silver tone bead cap, flanking the next bead, which is a fossil coral. And then I'm going to go to another fossil coral, and it'll be every other one fossil coral and coconut bead until I get to, I see I've got 4 of them. And then I'm going to end with the silver tone bead cap and then one of these little silver tone seed beads. And then I'll finish off with the clamshell bead cap. And then this is where I'm going to use my chain. And I also need a clasp. I don't know why I didn't think of that, so I need to go dig around and see if I can find a pretty cool clasp for this. So I was able to find this clasp. I think it's going to look really nice with this. It's kind of tribal looking, and I think this bead is pretty tribal looking. I don't know if you see it or not, but I see eyes right here. They almost look like owl eyes. What do you see in that bead? Something else also that I'm going to switch out a little bit, I decided to go ahead and at the end here to use one of these antique brass bead caps and then stack it with the silver and then use the little seed beads. We'll see if that works out. Well, let me go to stringing this up. So I have half of it strung up. Just kind of taking a look and making sure I like the looks of it. I do like how this part's turning out, so I am going to keep that. All right, I like it. Let me finish the other half. All right, I have it all strung up. Let me make sure I got all my beads even. I don't have anything going the wrong way or added or subtracted a bead along the way. That sometimes happens. I think everything looks good. So now what I need to do is get out my little clamshells here and put them on. Now, I've shown this technique in several of my videos, but I'm going to show it again. Most people do not do it this way. I think of maybe 1 or 2 others I've seen it. These clamshell bead tips, a lot of people use them to cover up crimp beads. They will put them on the wire like so. And then they'll put a crimp bead and they'll crimp the bead and then they put this up there and they call it a crimp cover. But Crimped beads and I do not get along at all. I don't like the looks of them. I don't like handling them. I just don't. I'm not a fan. Just saying. And I find that this is a lot easier, and I don't have to buy crimped beads. So I just go ahead and put my clamshell on there. I tie 2 knots, 1, 2, on top of each other. And I make sure that these knots are tight. Let me get my pliers here. And then I feed the clamshell in there. Make sure the knot is in there. And if you want, you can put a dab of glue. Again, it's not necessary to do that. I have been doing this for 30 plus years, and I have not had an issue with my pieces coming apart. And then you just, okay, you close them up. I'm trying to be careful with my nail. I don't know if you see this or not. I did a little video the other day. It's split there, and I'm trying to keep it from splitting all the way. But anyway, here we go. So you close it up like that, and then you're going to get your cutters and just trim this other little piece off. And then I just kind of feel around. Now it is poking in there a little bit, so I just kind of push it up. And it is gone. It is not there scratching your neck anymore. The other side is a little bit trickier. You need to cut it off of your spool there. And you need to make sure you have enough where you're going to be able to tie 2 knots. And you're going to feed them into the opening of the clamshell. Okay? And the way you do that is you get a little pen or something like this. And I tie a knot. And then just feed it in there like that. And you don't want to go too tight because then your piece will be like, it'll kind of be wonky. But at the same time, you don't want to be too loose, so when you pick it up, you see your wire here. You don't want that either. So I just kind of put it in there and feel around, and that feels good. So I'm going to go ahead and do another knot and feed it in there. Something else too, when you're feeding your knot in there, you want to make sure it doesn't get behind this little hook. It needs to get inside there. And if I can do it with my blind eyes, I think most of you can do this. And see, it's kind of wanting to go in the back there, so you just need to feed it. And then this one I do a little bit tighter. But again, you don't want to do it so tight that your piece is real stiff. So once you get it in there, again, you're going to take your flat nose pliers and you're going to gently pinch it closed. Like so. And then you're going to trim this piece off. And it is done. So now we got to add the chain. So I have my clasp and my jump rings. I'm going to go ahead and open my jump rings up. Okay, set them aside a little bit. I have my ruler. I want to make this an 18 inch. So this is 8 inches here. And then we have about another inch there. So I actually have 9 inches. Oh, I was like, where did it go? There it is. Anyway, so I have 9 inches. So 9 and 9 is 18. So I need another 9 inches of chain. I'm going to do one link, a couple links more though, only because I'm going to be clipping some. So go ahead and trim that. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach it to my necklace. And on the other side. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I just find this easier. And then I'm going to determine the middle, so I'm going to match these up. And just hang it like that. And there's usually one link. See that one link? I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut that. There we go. I was going to say, I am going to cut that. All right, so now we have two pieces. Let me move the ruler aside and all this stuff. Now I'm going to take my split rings, put it on the chain, put one side of my clasp on there, and close it up. Let me get a better. When you close it up, you need to make sure it is closed up and there's not a gap there. There we go. Sometimes you just have to wiggle it in there. Okay. I think there's still a little gap, so let's try this again. There we go. All right. Same thing on the other side. Close it shut and we should be done. All right, there's our necklace. So we have our necklace and our earring set. How fun is that? Well, let's check and see how accurate I am on my measuring. So we have 12 and 6. We are right exactly at 18 inches. That worked pretty well. So here's my set that I'm going to send to my new friend. Stay tuned for another video in a little, maybe a few days, on a Christmas ornament that I'll be making her. And I'll introduce you actually to her because she does make jewelry. And I'll introduce you to her and her website. If you like any of these beads that I used today, the fossil coral and the bead caps, hop on over to Cobeads. I'll leave a link to their website and to the beads that I used in here and some other stuff that I got in the unboxing this past month. So you can go check them out. They have some really good prices over there. The quality so far I am very, very happy with. And I do recommend them highly. Stay tuned for some up-close pictures of this set. I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Mostly though, I hope you all have a fantastically wonderful day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.